Her tongue is out. Look. She lost a tooth a week or two ago, and this tongue is starting to peek out sometimes. I wanted you guys to see it. Can you see? That's tongue. I can't take it. Man. Hi, everybody. Renee Flamond here. I just wanted you to see. Look at that face. I can't take it. You guys, today's topic is kind of a takeoff off the last video, because we talked about how we don't want the narcissist to break you. And when I was writing this outline, I was brought back to that video the whole time because I shared with you a certain time that I had that felt like it was going to break me. But once you realize that once you see that they are separate from you, and once you realize inside you feel that they are no longer in your life, you begin to see them differently. And then you realize that they only looked special or magnificent or fantastic or snazzy or smart or charming because they were with you. I'm not lying. It's a thing. It's a thing. It was you who made the narcissist so special to you. They mirror us. We know that. That's a part of what they do. So anything that you give off that is like my narcissist, for example, would dance and sing with me all around the house. I don't know if he does that in life. I don't know if he does that now, but he did it with me because I do it. Mirroring, right? Laughs when I laugh, tries to make you laugh. It's just stuff like that. So all of the things that I thought were charming and great and whatever, he was reflecting off of me. Once there was a separation, and I started to see, as I've told you many times, he would pop over once a month for about a year. And I would watch my interest and attraction to him decline every time. And I didn't recognize him. After a while, when he would come, I'd be like, who is he? Like, ugh, he's gross. We're going to get to that. It's a great feeling. But when I was with him, that's the same exact guy I thought was all that and a bucket of chicken. Same guy. Now I see him clearly because I'm no longer attached to him, making him charming in my eyes, funny in my eyes, dancing in my eyes, handsome in my eyes. He was ugly. And now, after their separation, and you realize that's what you see. Is the ugly. You don't see anything else. You don't remember any of the symbiosis you may have had. Maybe you were two that cooked together in the kitchen. Maybe you went skiing together. We danced. Like what? Doesn't matter. They were reflecting what you like and making it happen for you so that you did fall and think you've met your soulmate. That's what they do. When you start to see them as the plain, regular, non-special, average, ordinary person they actually are, when you start to see that, it's really hard to go back from it, because then you're unattracted to them, and you were what made them extra. I'm telling you, they mirror whoever they're with. They suck off whoever they're with. They emotionally vampire whoever they're with, right? These are all things that are characteristic of a person with narcissistic personality disorder. I'm not slinging hash, calling names. This is what they do. So I'm telling you what, the shift for me has been so huge that I cringe now at the narcissist. But it's the best cringe ever. Like, we go through a period of time where the cringe isn't nice, like where we cringe at ourselves for having stayed so long. That's not the best cringe ever. Or we cringe at the chances we gave. That's a terrible cringe. The lies we accepted, believed, right? I cringe that I even allowed his face to be in front of mine again. After infraction number 1. Incident 0, you've heard me call it many times before. June 27th. We discussed last video, but there were many times. But that when I was making that video and saw that it was the 27th and the topic that it was, I grabbed my daily planner, and I guess I don't even think I mentioned this. That's what I found so fascinating is it didn't trigger me the date. I was like, oh, what happened to me? Where was I last year on the 27th? And what did I write the year before on the 27th? And it happened to be that disaster date. It became insignificant to me. And I don't think I mentioned that. But what I'm saying is I cringe that I even allowed myself to talk to him after. It's a terrible, it's like a big chunk of ugly brush that you have to get through to get to the other side. Which is, it's a good side because it's a good cringe. Now I cringe, but at him. I cringe at him. That's my evidence that I'm so far above and beyond anything he could represent or bring that I actually cringe at the thought of the type of person that he is. Basically, it shows me that I'm way over him. Let me explain. And I felt this way a long time. When you're going through the thick of it, you don't see. I think I mentioned that on the last video. When I was right in it on June 27th, I obviously didn't see the truth because the next week I was with him, and the next week I was with him, and throughout that summer I continued to be with him. You don't see. You just do not. And even worse, I think I even saw, but ignored it. Isn't that even better? Ignored it. This isn't what I think. Like, by then, there had been multiple infractions. June 27th wasn't the first time. I mean, ignored it flat out. And that makes me cringe for myself. That's a bad cringe. And during that whole time, we're always so hopeful because we've seen this good side to them, this attraction we had. You were attracted to yourself, to your fabulosity that they sucked from you. Once you start to get a separation, I'm telling you what, you don't see them as special anymore. It's weird. I don't know who he's sucking off of the subsequent months that he was coming here, but he wasn't dynamic. I didn't find him funny. I found him, I don't know, being so hopeful made me sick. That makes me cringe. So hopeful, so grateful, scared, uneasy all the time, unsettled, mad, sad, upset, twisted, confused. All of those things I do not miss. That went along with being with him too. So he was love bombing me by behaving like this charming soulmate reflected off of myself. So the good part to him was me. When his mask came off, now what is there? There's ugliness. And the fake part, the good part, reflected off me. That was fake anyway. Becomes easier, I'm telling you. If you see that you're what made the narcissist special, you can hold your head up high and know how special you are and know that they don't have anything real to them. That's why he started to make me cringe. I swear that's it. And I looked it up, and there's videos on it, and that is what happens. You make them special. See, you don't realize when you're in it and you're having all those negative things I just listed, you don't realize that his behavior is cringeworthy yet. You don't realize that yet because you're still hanging in there. You're still hanging in there in the thick of it. Once you get through enough time with that, what's waiting for you is an entire other kind of cringe. You no longer long for him because you see this negative side, him without you, her without you, whatever your pronoun is. You see him without you, and the more time that passes, you start looking at them. You're not losing your mind. They're going to look less and less attractive to you. They don't know how to be. They're not brushing up against you anymore. You were social. You were this. You were that. Blah, blah, blah. You might, oh, he was a social butterfly. Yeah, mine was too, but he sounds like an idiotic buffoon unless I'm sitting next to him. So this is what I'm saying. So now I just see the idiotic buffoon. It's enlightening. It just is. And you know, you no longer think they're cute. Like I no longer think he's cute. I no longer miss him. You cringe him. I definitely had the period where I missed him, missed his face, his voice, his laugh, even knowing until the very end. But with education and time passing, I no longer envision any of those things in him. But even like to the bitter end, I knew, like I just tripped that up. But even knowing to the bitter end, meaning I knew the truth of him very early on, but ignored it. But I still, once I started learning and time was passing, I don't know, I don't envision the things that I liked in him anymore in that way. And when I do, his laugh irritates me. His face bothers me. His walk aggravates me. All these things that I once liked, they all make me cringe now. All I see is a disaster. And I started to realize that the last 6 or 7 months, monthly stop-ins that he was making. I was like, ugh. Like I couldn't wait for him to get out of my house. Then I eventually didn't let him in, but yeah. Yeah. And you know, a con artist might be another word that you might use for yours. I know that I would for mine. I'm grossed out by his character. I'm saying all this so that you can see if you feel this way and bask in it. Now that I see, and the thing is, if you're grossed out by someone's character now that you see, that trumps everything. His looks pale to his character, which, let's be honest, that's where true beauty lies. But we all know that, okay. But anything I did find attractive before makes me cringe now. He's not handsome. I did think he was handsome. I think so, yeah. But now I see him as an over-tanned Guido, Florida retiree from the North. The North part's not an insult. I'm from the North. Florida retiree. I know plenty of them. I'm not saying any one of those words, but you know what I mean? The being I'm trying to describe. Literally a bum that goes to the beach, but should be working. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Over-tanned. Ugh, gross. But I was in it. And I tolerated behavior for him that makes me cringe still because I saw this charming side to him. That was me the whole time. But the cringing over his person shows me I've seen the light. If you're getting there, I've seen him enough and have gotten to this place and this decision, and it will stick. You know it's going to stick. I'm safe. I'll never go back. I cringe when I think of him as a human. He's disgusting. His behavior is abominable. I'm done. I've shut off from that human. In the world where you think of people in your life, you are inevitably left with a certain impression. I talked about that a couple of weeks ago. Good, bad, whatever. When I think of my narcissist, he's lumped in with just other gross people I may have dated throughout my life. I mean, it happens. You pick someone, they're wrong for you. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it, and you'll cringe at the thought that you were ever with them. And that, my friends, is a glorious day. They've zero power over you at that point. Like, when I think of him, it's like mishkiv. I don't know how to say it in English, but mishkiv. Like, no, icky kakapupu, gross. That's quite a different place from 2 years ago on June 27th, where I felt I was broken because I found these pictures. You don't think you're going to get here. I'm telling you, you do. Start to look at them and see the truth of them. See the truth that you were what brought them their specialness. See the truth that what you thought was special, any good, was only the 5% guy who doesn't really exist. See that truth and know that they really are just ordinary. There's nothing grandiose about them, which is the ironic part, because they fashion themselves as this big grandiose figure. Really, he's just, I mean, it's just gross. And you know, I still cringe at the thoughts of what I tolerated. I do. No more smiles or a handsome face or love bomb would ever again do the trick from him now that I crossed the line. I mean, but again, like I cringe that it did work. Sure, yes, of course. But me cringing at him as a human being trumps that. Do you know what I mean? Like his character is not worthy of my moment, let alone my time. Not an instant I wouldn't waste on this person. Like if you meet people out and they're wearing who they are for real, if I read it, like say there's a hologram in front of us that says the truth about us, and I read his, I'd walk away. It's all ugliness. There's nothing redeeming about his human being person at all. And I realized that anything I saw in him that was positive, I was seeing. Now he's just an ordinary bloke, living too high on the hog and thinking he's bigger than his britches can allow. And you know, once you see that, it allows you to break away, and then you're seeing the light of who they truly are, which is not the specialness that you brought to the table. I just wanted to bring that up. Because I think that when we're hanging on, I think we underestimate how much they suck from us. You follow what I'm saying? I do. I think that we underestimate it. Whatever you do, they're going to reflect that off back to you, and you're going to think that you're in heaven. And that is what was so special to you. He knew exactly how I like this, and he did that. And of course they did. They manufactured and they paid attention. And now you're trying to hang on because that's the special part. You are the special part. You are. So let them go. And the next time you see them, you won't see that special part in them anymore. I'm telling you, he just looked like an old Florida, over-tanned Guido retiree. I'm sorry. That is just the truth. But I thought he was funny and handsome and... No. And then you might say, well, how do you explain that? He can't look at you. It's not supernatural. He's not going to get, you know, if he looks at you and you look at him and you make each other cute, if you're both cute, or... that's not what I mean. It's not... But any beauty I saw in him was because I thought he was funny and good, and which I thought for 2 days, I think I was on to him right away. But I stayed. Because he kept mirroring, he kept saying exactly what I wanted to hear. He kept being special. He kept being charming. He kept... Okay? Being persistent. I'm sure I said the Cinderella story. He knew I wanted persistency. And so boy did he give that. It's what I told him I wanted. He was special because of me. This is what I mean. It bounces off of you. So just look into yours and say, you know, she might be right. I think he does that. Okay? You're what's special. I just thought I'd mention it. Chin up. I know we got some new people going through some tough moments. Chin up, please, and remember that you're fabulous. Okay, I'll see you next time.